Say something real quick, Sean, just to be sure.
Test test.
Oh yeah, okay, good.
There it is.
Um, Yo, what's up, my peeps? We are back again with another week. I am Marcus McDuffie, the owner of Aion Training and the host of Aion. Oh shit! All right, cool. Round two. Yo, what's up, everybody? We are back. I am Marcus, the owner of Aion Training and the host of the Live, Love, Lift podcast, joined once again by my amazing co-host, Sean. What's up, Sean?
Howdy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. It's been a calm week. The Lakers aren't in the playoffs anymore, so my life's not as stressful.
You
Uh,
get to watch the Celtics win, you know what I mean? So
and I don't know about all that. Okay, so we want to pop into it. Man, this is something that has been coming up quite a lot in some like email responses and some of like the consults that I've been doing. And it's people that are absolutely kicking butt, right? Like they're doing well, they're showing up, they're doing more workouts than they've done in years, but the scale is only gone down by 5 pounds, and that could be a little discouraging, right? So I think what we're going to cover today is just like why the scale sucks as a main metric and what some of the better metrics are, because I'm really frustrated by it. I'm really frustrated by this person that comes in and is doing well and is taking care of their lives and doesn't understand that 1 year from now they could be in a completely different situation, health wise, medication wise, whatever else it is. But because the scale isn't going in the right direction, they don't feel like they're doing well, right? And what that usually manifests as is person starts and they start gaining muscle and they're doing well, and they step on the scale and they're like, oh, I only lost 3 pounds. And whether that's because they added muscle, they're just getting started, or whatever else it is, unrealistic standards,
yeah.
it's frustrating. So, Sean, I know for you, I don't know how much we've talked about on this podcast, but you had like a, really impressive and just a big time, like, weight change for yourself a couple of years back. So just kind of want to, give you the floor to talk a little bit more about what the scale meant for you then, and kind of what were some
Yeah.
metrics in that time and now that you think are more helpful for people.
Yeah, I think to add to your point, like the scale does suck as a metric. And I think the scale sucks as a metric specifically if you're looking at the goal of strength gain, because to your point, I think that what you learn once you start kind of divorcing some of the mental kind of negativity associated with the scale is that the scale fluctuates, man. Like the scale is such a BS number, like literally no joke. And to talk to the weight loss point, like I ended up losing about 120 pounds. I was at 325. But even looking at where I'm at now, like I fluctuate anywhere, honestly, between 3 days. I had something a couple weeks ago where I weighed in, right, at 210, right? And then 2 days later, I weighed in and I was at 202. And I was like, I know I didn't lose 8 pounds in, in 3 days, but it's like, what did I eat that day? Did I hike? Did I have inflammation? Did I have waterlog? Like all these crazy things. And I think that the thing that kind of evolving my mentality around the scale has taught me is that I don't care about the number. Like I look at the number as a target, right? And if I'm staying within a target, whether that's up or down, I give myself a percentage of error, which honestly should be the case in anything. Because I mean, if you look at anything scientific speaking, or scientifically, it's the same way. There's always a margin of error. It's not like 100% certainty. It's like that's impossible. You know what I mean? You're always going to have that 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 10% margin of error, and the scale's no different. So again, and I know it's tough because I fed into this for a long time of being like, I'd go, during my weight loss, like, it's kind of funny because I started from the other end. I was like, I don't care about losing weight. I just want to get as strong as I possibly can. So naturally, I mean, I did lose weight because I started hiking again. I started lifting again, and I went down from 325 to about, I think it was about 290, right? And I hit 290 and like the weight wasn't going down because I didn't change any of my eating habits, right? And I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'm going to be 290. I'm just going to be the strongest dude at 290 to walk the earth, right? And like that wasn't a healthy mentality either, So I think once I really started working towards, sustainable weight loss, which is what I was working at, was like, again, we talked about it previously about having the macro goal. It's like, is my body going to be able to maintain 290 pounds for however long I want to exist and enjoy life?
Yeah.
Probably not. So that's why I'm going to change it, you know? And I think I was really lucky to be in that. Of course, there were feelings of like, I wish I looked like this. I wish I weighed this amount. But, you know, honestly, that was more fleeting to the, again, setting that macro goal at the beginning of like, I'm in this for strength and sustainability. And so I think, you know, in terms of our topic today of looking at the scale and why it sucks is that it didn't help with either of those goals at all. You know, I didn't care. You know, I think that eventually I did have a number I wanted to hit, but I gave myself a ton of time to do it, which I think is my second point about this. Like the first one, again, not to harp on it again, but having that macro goal of not just a superficial, like, I want to lose 10 pounds, like that. If I had said I wanted to lose 10 pounds, like it would have taken me forever and I would have hated it. You know what I mean? And I guarantee if my only goal was to lose 10 pounds to the point we made previously, like I would have gained 15 back.
Yeah.
Like that was the cycle I was in. So I gave myself a lot of time, which I think is my second point. And I think that when you do have a weight loss goal, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, like I said, for me, like that was a sustainability thing. You know, I needed to lose that weight to be able to live the life that I wanted to, right? And feel confident, and feel the person that I wanted to be. But I think that looking at that and giving yourself grace through it with the lens of time is really important. I didn't set a timeline on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm going to lose weight and get down to this number. If it takes me a year, great. If it takes me 5 years, great. If it takes me 10 years, great. And I think that the thing that afforded me, again, was getting out of the cycle of insanity of weighing myself every day. And the minute something went wrong, I spiraled out of control because I knew it was a process. I knew it was a journey. And in my brain, too, I always thought, hey, it took me just about like 4.5, 5 years to put this 100+ pounds on. Is it going to take me 6 months to take it off? Like, probably not. You know, if it did, then maybe I was injecting something, but we're not going to get into it today either, right? But yeah, I just looked at it in terms of like, I didn't take care of my body for this long. It's going to take some time for my body to kind of get back to the place that I want it. And I think that was the second big point, was just not letting the scale kind of throw me off course. Having the macro goal, understanding it takes time. And then, you know, I think the last one was also just changing the metrics with which I use the scale. Instead of just looking at poundage, it was really dialing into what is my body fat percentage and what's my composition. Because for me, it's starting at a really high body fat percentage, which again, in terms of sustainability, it's like that's what I needed to decrease, right? There were times when I was 270, but I had dropped 5% body fat. And like, I didn't lose 50 pounds, but I lost a lot of body fat, and that's what matters, you know? So yeah, I think those three things, you know, having the macro goal, having a long-term kind of approach to the scale, not letting it derail you. And then the last one is just like looking at numbers differently really helped me as well. Because it's a great tool, but you can't let the tool use you. You have to use the tool.
Yeah, and I think I think two things on there too. Like one, like what you said too, of getting to that point of the scale used to, like, I would step on it and it would wreck me, and now you said like, hey, like I fluctuated 8 pounds, and I think in there it's for people that are just starting and maybe want to go on that journey, right? It's one of those burritos from that place down the street. But yeah, like for people who are just starting, like if you step on the scale now and it does cause a deep sense of discomfort, that's okay, right? Like that is just part of what the beginning of the journey looks like. And I think even for myself, still to this day, like I'll step on the scale and it'll be like up 3 pounds. And I'll be like, I'll have like a little twitch real quick. And I'm like, what the hell? But then within 10 minutes, I'm not even thinking about it anymore. Right. So I think, if you are someone struggling with that, just kind of understand that's also part of the process to eventually get into the point where it's a kind of a range of, like, I would say what, like 10 to 15 pounds where it's like,
Easily.
hey, if I'm in this,
Yeah.
okay, like I'm doing pretty well. Like I don't like a direct number, especially if it's something you weighed in college. Like, give that shit up, man. Stop.
It's
Don't do that
ridiculous.
shit.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I think that's good. And also and I think that like a lot of people miss is that, hey, like this is my weight loss goal, or sorry, like, yeah, I want to lose this weight, but I'm not trying to do it in 3 months. I think
Yeah.
that really sets a lot of people up for failure, both on a hormonal and physiological level, but also a mental level as well, right? Of just don't put that pressure on yourself to do something that is only done with drugs or on those shitty magazines that you buy by the candy bars. This is the
Yep.
only time you see 20 pounds in 3 weeks is drugs or the shitty magazines, and they're probably a little bit linked. So yeah, man.
Yeah, and I think the last thing that kind of popped in my head while you were talking also just about I think when you really start to work on the mental fear of why you want to hit that number, all of a sudden, to your point, it becomes something where like I can look, hey, I gained 8 or like 5 pounds. And now for me in my brain, it just goes, okay, well, I just need to make this adjustment and I know I can get back. And I think that was a really big point for me too. Cause once, we talk about a lot about, and I think it goes hand in hand with this, is that like losing weight is one thing, maintaining weight loss is a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother beast, man. And like, it's something that I talk to with clients a lot and something that I dealt with where it was like, okay, now the weight's gone. Now it becomes the harder task of like keeping it off. And I think in both of those realms of weight loss and maintenance, just understanding that like weight loss is a very simple formula. And I think that people overcomplicate it and they attach so much emotion to it. It's just like food. Food is just fuel. And I think that you attach so much emotional resonance to it. And when you can kind of, again, start to divorce the two ideas. And I think to the bigger point of this podcast is like find other things in life with which to gauge how you're doing. All of a sudden life becomes and weight loss becomes so much more simple and it becomes very black and white. It doesn't need to be all this gray emotional attachment of like I gained 3 pounds, like I'm a piece of shit. Like I don't feel that anymore. I used to feel that a lot, and I don't anymore because I know like, hey, like one, the scale doesn't define who you are, and two, I know I can still go crush a kettlebell workout or go for a hike with my girlfriend or travel around or get into my car without huffing and puffing. And it's like, those are the metrics that like, who cares if I'm 210 or 202? That doesn't matter at the end of the day. If I feel confident and awesome as the person I am every day.
Yeah, there's nobody at the top of that trail that you're doing when you're doing your 10-mile rucks. It's like, all right, Sean, now step on the scale and tell me how it is. Like that shit doesn't exist, right? And I
Yeah.
think like when you go to your daughter's wedding, not for you, but for our clients, like if you
Yeah.
go to your daughter's wedding, there's nobody there with the scale to see, oh, are you in shape enough to be here?
Yeah.
And I think the more that clients can do that, and the more that they can start to put stock into how do I feel when I wake up? What are my medical readings when I go to the doctor? How's my energy? How can I do the things in life that I really enjoy and make me happy? How do I put more stock into that? Because I'll tell you, and you mentioned a lot, that the more you focus on strength and mobility, the more you actually get closer to the things you really want. Right?
100%.
And that's the big thing that we want everybody to kind of like start to buy into is,
Yeah.
detach from those ideas that like that you need to weigh a certain weight to enjoy your life or to be fully expressed. And this isn't to say that, hey, like, you could be like a very, very medically unhealthy weight, right? Because we want you to live a long time, but also don't let it be the main metric and please not the only metric, which I know for a lot of people, especially at the beginning of your journey, it can be the easiest one to attach to.
Correct.
Yeah. So dope, Pete. Sean, once again, thanks for sharing your story. I know that's you probably shared a lot, but I know it's still probably
Yeah. Yeah. Not that much. It's funny. I don't, sometimes it's hard for me to even remember that time. I mean, that's how much distance I've put between myself and that really that lifestyle, which is such a good point, I think. And it's funny. It's like, yeah, I did lose a person in terms of weight, but at the same time, I feel like even if I were to get closer to that weight than I am now, just the mentality I have is so different.
yeah.
And again, my ability is different. And that's the key thing. Am I able to do the things that I love? If I'm at a weight that's medically healthy and sustainable, who cares what it is? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I will say that's sometimes that's some of that stuff I heard for the first time. Like I always knew that. If you don't mind me bringing this part up of just like you saying, "Hey, like I always wanted to do these things, but I couldn't." And that
Yep.
was like, as I remember, like that was one of the other main drivers for you at the beginning as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think nature is a way that I kind of stabilize my own mental health, and I lost access to that because I couldn't be in it in a physical capacity. It's kind of funny. I'm wearing the shirt, the Mount Wilson Trail Race, and it's like that was the trail I went up on, and I got like 5 minutes on it, and I was out of breath, and I could barely breathe, and I felt like I was dying, and I just had this moment of like, what have I done? Like I have, through my own action, boxed myself out from the one thing that keeps me kind of level. And that was the moment where I was like, I don't care what it takes, but I'm going to get back to this ability. And that was my macro goal.
Yeah. Damn. Hell yeah, man. Well, thanks so much for sharing that story. I know that probably will mean a lot to a lot of our members and also other people listening. So,
Yeah.
um,
I tell some members now and they're like, I had no idea. I'm like, yeah, you would have never guessed. They're like, no. I'm like, yeah, that's what, quite a few years of good habit building can do for you. You know? Yeah.
fucking A. Well, dope, my peeps. Well, hey, thanks everybody for popping on this week. We will see you all next week. If you are a current member, you will see your amazing little faces in the gym very, 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 very soon. Not currently a member here with us, then there's a link down the bio. If you're like, you know what, I want to start my non-scale focused journey, you can try us out for a free week, see if we'd be a good match for each other, and just check us out from there. But thanks for coming, and Sean, I will see you on the podcast next week, but tomorrow.
One, yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool, man. See you soon.
All right, my peeps.